Yes, good morning and welcome to Gather Media. Today is Thursday, January the 7th of 2021, and this will be our first podcast for the new year. And today will be looking at some of the political issue that has been going on here in the U.S. There was a runoff election in Georgia, and yesterday was supposed to be the certification of the Electoral College, which will actually officially give Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the vice president, to be officially become the next U.S. President, the 46th president of the United States of America after the November election. So today's line, Gide will be on the line and we'll be looking at some of the issues related to this political kind of stuff, to bring to the spotlight to our audience exactly what is happening in the U.S. Gide, good morning and welcome to Kansas Media Podcast Radio Show. Be looking at a little bit of political and trying to explain the U.S. System of government and what is actually going on different social media platforms. People have been asking a lot of questions. So what is the first question that you got for us this morning?
Yes, Ernest, what I would like to find out from you, we saw a lot of disturbing images from Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. yesterday. So can you tell us what happened?
Yes, thank you for that question. From the result that from the report that we're having and from the image that we saw, actually yesterday, January 6, according to the U.S. Constitution, was supposed to be the day where the Senate and the Congress, the joint chamber, will actually certify the Electoral College that will give the elect Joe Biden and the Vice President Kamala Harris the mandate to become president come January 20, where they will be sworn in. So now, during that time, there has been a lot of controversial issue because the current president Donald Trump says the election was rigged. Then he rallies some of his people, like the militants, some of his supporters, and said no, they shouldn't certify that election. That's where you see there was mass protest, and that it finally dropped into the Senate, and it disrupt that process. If I may want to take a little bit to explain exactly how, why there are various phases, because I've also received question that since November 10th, since there was election, when is the swelling in why electoral vote? What is the difference between the popular vote? Everybody is voting, all the U.S. citizens who are of legal age, maybe 18 and above. In some states, they may even lower it to 17, that you are legally allowed to vote as a U.S. citizen, either naturalized or a born citizen. Once that is done, that was kind of the popular vote. Then now you move on to the electoral vote. In the U.S., there are 50 states, and each state have what we call electorate. So that has been partitioned in terms of population. So some states have more electorate than the other, depending on the population size. For example, a state like maybe Michigan may have only 7, Oklahoma may have only 6. A state like California with a large population size may have up to 23 electoral vote. That is why when the election was going on the 10th of November, you started seeing finally they say Joe Biden has won with 306 electoral vote, and Donald Trump had only 232 electoral vote. In order for you to become the U.S. president, you must hit 270 electoral vote. Let me put it this way. In one particular state, say in the state of Michigan, when one candidate win that state, they will convert to their capital in that state. Then they will fill out a form and certify that, yes, at the state level. Now they combine all of those and send to the headquarters, the Washington D.C., which is the political headquarters, we call it the Capitol Hill, where the Senate and the House of Representatives, the Congress, they will meet together and do the counting of those votes, of those electoral signatures that came from the state. Because the vice president is the president of the Senate, he's the one to chair that particular ceremony. So it's just like to bring in and say, okay, how many votes? This vote that came from Ohio, or from West Virginia, or from Massachusetts. They will tabulate all those votes, and they will finally say, okay, these numbers of electorate represent goes to this person, this one goes to this person. But people have already known that Joe Biden had 306 and Donald Trump has only 232, because they already know how the process will work. But what happened was that Donald Trump, the current president, was requesting his vice president, Mike Pence, to change those electorate, to refuse that some of them from some particular state were not legitimate, that they were fraud. So he shouldn't certify those votes, so that would cause him to maybe remain in office. When Mike Pence said, no, according to the Constitution, he does not have the constitutional right to change what the state or the will of the people. Then Donald Trump said no. Then he sent out Twitter. Then he ordered his militant people that are riot. Of course, you know, U.S. because of the Second Amendment, you can carry a firearm, you can do whatever you want. The freedom of to bear arm and all that. That's what we saw. The riot got to a point where Donald Trump said, "You have to go fight." Then you see how everything broke into chaos. That is an overall picture of what I can explain for now.
Okay, Ernest, thank you so much for that update. In your own opinion, do you think that Donald Trump is right about what he's doing right now?
No, I don't think so, because when they started saying there was irregularity on election, yes, there can be irregularity. Like we may hardly have election where everything is 100% correct. But here is the thing: at the state level, when they said there was irregularity of the voter, or there were voter fraud, or people were voting twice, or some people were not qualified to vote, or dead people were voting, meaning that somebody who has died, they are using their social security number or their address to vote and stuff like that. But these were just some form of allegation, because the thing now, they went to court. They were not able to give substantial evidence to prove that there was voter fraud. So, they had over like 30-something cases, and I think about 90 of those cases were thrown out. The judge could not even listen to it in those states. So, but he continued with the narrative that there was electoral fraud. This is one thing that is very compelling, one evidence. For example, the way they conduct election in the U.S., they use by the ballot. They use something like a ballot card. There's one card that is scanned into the machine, and on that piece of paper alone, you have all those that are being elected. All their names are on that one sheet, where you have the president name on top, Donald Trump and the vice president. On the other side, then you have Joe Biden and his own vice. You have the senators, any person who is running for election, right up to the councillor, is on that piece of paper. Where you come in as a citizen, you want to vote, you go next to whoever you want to be elected, you will bubble against that person's name. So now the question is, if you use one piece of paper, a Scantron, and bubble it, and the machine scan it, and record whoever is the president or whoever has been elected, because still on that same sheet, like I said, you have senators and you have Congress people that were also running for election. That some of them were elected. They do not have any issue. The president now said there was an issue because he was not elected. It means that people do not like him. They voted for somebody else, but on the same piece of paper, they voted for another person. Why is it that it is only the president that is complaining that there was voter fraud? Other people that were on that same ballot paper are not complaining. So I think that is the first argument to be very clear from everybody to understand that all this idea of say there's voter fraud, there is this, is just not correct. And I'm moving on to maybe the Georgia runoff election. Okay, before I go on to that, do you have any other question?
Not actually a question, Ernest. I was just like trying to understand what you have been explaining so far. And
I think yes, because the U.S. Institution is very strong in such a way that the Constitution spells it out very clearly. Because I think yes, he has maintained, even though he has been loyal to Donald Trump for the past 4 years, but at one point there are just some certain things that you cannot change, you cannot do otherwise, because I mean it would be more right than what we saw yesterday. If that was happened, that may even result to maybe fighting war, shooting, even though one person died yesterday from the gunshot, that would have been more severe than what we saw if he was to come there and say, "Oh no, I would not do the certification of those senatory," because the constitution is spelled out in such a way that even though the vice president would be the one to certify, just imagine that if he was to accept, because it would still be in his favor as well, because he will remain the vice president. If Donald Trump, if you say no, I will not certify this because Donald Trump won the election, he will still remain the vice president. But that is not what he's looking at. He's looking at the Constitution. That no, I do not have the power to stop this vote, to say there's nothing wrong, because this thing has gone to court in those various states. The Supreme Court, they have said no, everything is correct the way it is. We do not see anything wrong here. The FBI have done investigation and have found no credible evidence to show that there was massive fraud. The state has certified it. So what was left yesterday was just for a ceremonial count to just officially announce it. But Donald Trump could not swallow the bitter pill.
Wow, that is interesting. It means that he is not a man who will accept a fair play, because in politics, when you are won, you have to accept defeat. What do you think?
Sure. I think yesterday was testimony that when your time is up, your time is up. Now he has 13 more days to be in the White House, and there have even been suggestions that he should even be kicked out of the White House before the preempted where the ceremony or the inauguration of the new president will happen. As of now, he still has the power as the president of the United States to do whatever he thinks that is within the law. But just that there are some patriotic Americans that if he pass some order, they will not listen. That's why yesterday he could not order the military to come in, but he instead was using the militias. I would call them militias because they were carrying guns and all kind of stuff to come and disrupt the democratic process, which has never happened in the history of US. Okay, yes, there was yes, there was something.
Yes,
oh, go ahead, yeah.
Yes, Ernest, interesting. Thank you so much for that wonderful explanation. There was another election in Georgia. Which one was it? And if I may ask, is it related to the demonstration that we saw?
Yeah, the election in Georgia is not over-related, but all of these elections were kind of tied together, because the election of Georgia that took place on the 5th was a runoff election, because as we know, the election in Georgia was highly contested, where Donald Trump even ordered a recount of the vote, because he believed that he won. Because those are kind of states that when you won them, you have the electoral vote. They will not even split the electoral vote into two. So those are states that have a very significant impact in building up your electoral vote to hit the 270 that I talked previously. There was a recount. I think there was something again that happened, but Joe Biden repeatedly won, despite the fact that they ordered to recount the vote again. So I think in the state that was highly contested, because of the particular state, the law in Georgia, it happened that they have to redo election of the 2 Senate seats in Georgia. So now let me explain how the Senate happened, the Senate election. There are 50 states in the U.S., as I think I've mentioned that previously, and each state provides 2 senators to represent the state to represent every state. So every state has 2 senators. So Georgia has 2 senators. So right now, currently, U.S. in the Senate, they have the Republican Party have 52 senators, and the Democratic Party has 48 senators. That was before the election of the 6th, before the Georgia election, which therefore means that the Republicans have the majority in the Senate. When you are when the party is majority, when the party has the majority of the seat in the Senate, it means that most of the committee, like the Judicial Committee, the Finance Committee, the Homeland Security Committee, the Intelligence Committee, the military, and many other committees are headed by that party. So they have more power to accept if something will happen or not. They may pass a bill. Some of those committees, they will come in. Some of those, they may not even allow it to happen. For example, before President Obama left office in 2015, he had 8 months when he nominated the Supreme Court judge. Because the Senate was a minority, the Democratic Party have the minority at the Senate. The Republicans that were the majority refused to do the hearing for that particular judge. For 8 months, there was no hearing until Obama left office without installing the new Supreme Democratic judge. 2 weeks to an election, the other judge died. Donald Trump was able to appoint a Supreme Court judge. The Republican was able to do the hearing before the election, and that was able to happen because they were the majority in the Senate. So those are just some of the advantages when you are majority or not. The absolute be that you will pass it so swiftly. Unlike if you are a minority, the other party will block you from some legislation to go through. So back to this election. So Republican over 2 years, 2018 to 2020, Republican has been the majority in the Senate with 52 seats. Democrat have only 42, only 48. Now with the runoff election, with these 2 seats, this election that took place in Georgia, Democrat has now won that seat, have won all the 2 positions. So means that 2 senators have been elected from Georgia as Democratic senator. So they will now go to Washington DC to represent the Georgia. So now it will make Democrat now become 50. Democrat now will have the 50 seat, and Republican will have a 50 seat in the Senate. So it's now a tie. So it's now split into 2. Then the next thing that what is going to happen is that because the Vice President of the United States is the President of the Senate, she will come in, Kamala Harris will come in to fill that position. And that will make it now the next, and that will give Democrat now majority. So now the Democrat now will control the Senate because of the Vice President who is a Democrat. Otherwise, it will be a tie. That is how the Constitution spells it out. That whenever there is a 50-50% of the Senate, then whoever is the president, if it's a Republican president, then the vice will come in to make the difference to become the 51 seat in that party. Okay, yes, dear viewer, before the interruption, I was saying that right now there's a tie in the Senate. So the vice president, Kamala Harris, will come in now to fill the gap. So Democrat will now control the Senate. And you also be reminded that in the Congress, it's also a Democrat that are controlling. Nancy Pelosi is the speaker. Now Chuck Schumer will become the chief or the majority, the leader in the Senate. And Kamala Harris will be the president of the Senate. So right now, Democrat control the White House, control the Congress, and control the Senate. So they have the power now within 2 years to pass any bill that will be progressive, and that is one good thing for Democrats. But at the same time, the shortcoming is Democrats may just want to do whatever they want. They may pass some bill that may not be favorable. But now the Republican will not have a lot of force to oppose them to make sure that they scrutinize the bill properly. So that is some of the things that we'll be looking forward to in a few months ahead. when Joe Biden is actually sworn in. Yeah, that is all. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Ernest, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That will be all for now. I really want to thank you for updating us, updating our audience as concerns whatever is going on concerning the USA politics. Thank you so much. This is Gillette reporting from Douala.
Yes, thank you, Gillette. Probably we have come to the end of this short reporting. We'll continue to bring you update as event unfold. Right now, just to wrap up this thing. After the demonstration yesterday, after the Capitol Hill was mobbed, then the military were sent in. They were able to send away the militant. Now the senator and the House of Representatives, they reconvened, and they have actually and they were able to pass, to vote, and Joe Biden will be sworn in officially come 20th in 2 weeks' time to become the 46th president of the United States. We'll wrap it off from here and stay tuned to our podcast YouTube channel. Again, my name is Ernest, and here at the Gaza Media House. Till then, you have a blessed day.